Hi and welcome to the Resources Roadhouse. I'm Wally Graham, and today I'm speaking with Allan Kelly, who's Executive Chairman of Miramar Resources. Now, Allan, we caught up in November last year, just after Miramar listed on the ASX, and since then you've been reasonably busy out at your Gidgee project just outside of Kalgoorlie there in WA. Can you give us a bit of an update of what's going on there? Where I believe you've had the drill rig out there.
Yeah, that's right. We did our first air core program just before Christmas in December, and we targeted what we thought was an interesting looking structure over about 4 kilometres, and we did an air core program which is on a 400 by 100 metre spacing, so pretty broad, and we got regolith gold anomalies over that entire 4 kilometre structure. And then sort of within that structure, we've come up with a couple of nice looking targets. One where we got some visible gold in quartz veining, which was a pretty good start for an air core rig. And we've called that target Marlebone. It's in the Barara Shear, which is basically a long strike from the 4 million ounce Paddington deposit. And it looks like it's got the same geology, structural setting and scale as Paddington, but there's basically no effective drilling on that project at all. So we're pretty excited to go out there and sort of hit that with our first program. So currently we've got a 1600 by 300 metre regolith gold anomaly there. Further down that north-south structure, we've got another position which looks pretty similar. And so we're looking forward to getting back there pretty quickly with the air core rig in the next few weeks to infill that.
There's probably nothing more encouraging than hitting some good results with your first drill program. But there's also a few other projects and targets you've got out there in the Eastern Goldfields, but Gidgee is the one that you're basically concentrating on now.
Yeah, I've started saying to people it's almost like the cheapest house in the best street, if you like. We're on the Barara Shear. On one side of us, we've got KCGM and the Super Pit, and on the other side, we've got Norton Goldfields with all their projects up at Paddington, and we've got this nice position on the same Barara Shear that hosts that Paddington mineralisation. The project's quite interesting, in fact, that when you look at it, you think there's a fair bit of drilling there, but most of the drilling is less than 50 metres. A lot of it's RAB drilling, and there's only about 6 RC holes and 2 diamond holes over the entire project. So it's almost like having a greenfields, exploration opportunity, in the backyard of Kalgoorlie, which is, pretty exciting for us.
All right, so it's just sort of touching on the rest of the portfolio out there. What other sort of targets or projects are we going to be keep an eye out for?
Yeah, so we've got basically there's probably 3 main parts to the company. There's the Eastern Goldfields project, so that's Gidgee that we just talked about. There's another project called Glandor, which sits about 40 kilometres east of Kalgoorlie. We're currently just waiting on heritage approval to get out and do some work there. That's a really interesting project. Regolith gold anomalies over kilometres, lots of untested ground there, and part of it's under a lake, so it hasn't been explored very well at all. We've got another project called Randalls, which sits out near Silver Lakes, Cockeyed Bob and Maxwell's deposits. We're waiting on that tenement to be granted. And then the other main projects are up in the Murchison region, sort of up around Meekatharra, Mount Magnet. There's a project there called Langwell, which we've just done a gravity survey on to help us refine the greenstone there. We're waiting on those results. And then we just announced this morning that we've got one of our first tenements in the Gascoyne granted, and that's our whale shark project, which sits up between the Northwest Coastal Highway and the coast at Onslow. That's a project I worked on with Western Mining back in the mid-90s. It's a very large folded banded iron formation. It sits under about 100 metres of cover of the Carnarvon Basin sediments. And back in the 90s, we drilled a couple of diamond holes sort of in the middle of nowhere and got a bit of gold in the biff, but then it was never really followed up. Spectrum Resources had a bit of a crack at it in 2018, did a little bit of EM, but then they found the Penny West deposit. And so all their focus went onto that project there. So it sort of languished a bit. So it's just been sitting there. I picked it up last year, and then that came into the Miramar float. Obviously, a bit wet up there at the moment. Manila and Nanyatara are underwater, so that's a project that we'll be looking to go do some work on in the middle of the year.
All right, well, you're just saying that looks like the middle of the year. So pretty much the year's pretty well mapped out at the moment, focusing on Gidgee, of course, first, and then moving the drill rig around to the others as necessary.
Yeah, we'll be busy at Gidgee for the next quarter at least, and we're hoping that we get this heritage approval for Glandor within the next few weeks, and then that'll enable us to then start planning work out there. So the first half of the year, the focus will be Gidgee and hopefully Glandor, and then sort of in the middle of the year onwards, we'll do a little bit of work up north on our whale shark project, and also one of our projects in the Bangamore, which is one of these nickel copper PGE projects that seems to be exciting the market at the moment.
All right, well, looks like we've got a fair bit to look forward to floating through and to read about and to hear about. So we'll look forward to that here at the Roadhouse. But until then, we'll welcome you back when you've got something to tell us, Alan, and we look forward to hearing it all. All right, Allan Kelly, thanks for joining us at the Roadhouse.
Great, thanks, Wally.